Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Wednesday, October 19th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the next couple of days, we won't have any significant impacts to fire potential across the Great Basin. However, we will continue to see a warming and drier trend through the next few days, with gusty southwest winds returning later this week and this weekend across some of the drier areas. We will also see a return of wetting rains over southern and eastern areas by early next week, and also over parts of the north and the west as we get towards Tuesday, Wednesday. Over the last 24 hours, we've only seen some showers and thunderstorms in the far north across Idaho, far northeast Nevada, northern Utah, into Wyoming, with again some lightning as well. Any rainfall was generally on the lighter side, with only some wetting rains in small areas across southeast Idaho. We have not had any significant fire activity across the Great Basin. Looking at the last 7 to 30 days, the last 7 days on the left, you can see the amount of precipitation over the northern and western areas has been significant, with many areas over western Nevada and the Sierra seeing 1 to 3 inches of rainfall or higher, and even up north into Idaho and Wyoming and northern Utah, many areas saw over an inch of precipitation. Dry conditions, however, have persisted in the south. Over the last 30 days, including what we saw the last week, well above normal precipitation has occurred in the Sierra and over western Nevada, and again in northern areas and over parts of the higher elevation of Utah. Still very dry conditions persist over southern Nevada and the Arizona Strip, where some areas of southern Nevada have not seen any rain in over the last month. How this has transpired into our current ERCs. ERCs with the cool and wet weather have decreased significantly in all areas and are below the 50th percentile. The water vapor satellite loop from this morning shows a trough of low pressure that brought the showers and thunderstorms to the north yesterday has now moved into the central Rockies. We may still see some showers and isolated thunderstorms over parts of Wyoming and southeast Idaho into far northeast Utah today. However, a ridge of high pressure along the west coast will build eastward, bringing warmer and drier conditions to the Great Basin. Again, looking at the weather pattern for today, you can see the much warmer and drier conditions across much of the Great Basin as that ridge of high pressure moves in. With the trough moving eastward, really only some showers over the far northeastern portion of the geographic area early today before we see drying. Significant fire potential will generally remain low, with low to moderate fire potential in the far south. Relative humidity in the south will remain in the single digits to low teens, along with some gusty winds, as the image on the right shows, over the Arizona Strip, southern Nevada, and southwest Utah, where we could see some wind gusts above 30 or 35 miles per hour. Looking at Thursday, the ridge of high pressure moves over the Great Basin. We may still see some gusty westerly winds in the far north with some moisture moving across the top of the ridge and possibly bringing a few showers to the central Idaho mountains. However, again, significant fire potential will remain low. As this dry weather remains in place over the southern areas of the Great Basin, you will continue to see some drying in the south. Looking at the weather conditions on Thursday, relative humidity actually decreases as that drying moves overhead with single-digit relative humidity in the far south, and again much higher humidity as you go further north. Again, across Idaho, as that area of low pressure tracks well to the north, we will see some gusty winds in the far north, but under that ridge of high pressure further south, we'll continue to see lighter wind flow. By Friday, the ridge starts to move eastward, with southwest winds beginning to increase, but still dry conditions across most areas, with the exception of some moisture potentially in the central Idaho mountains for some light showers. Again, we'll continue to see low to moderate fire potential in southern areas with very low potential further north. On Friday, we continue to see those low relative humidities over the southern half of the Great Basin, and winds in general will start to increase with southwest wind gusts between 20 and 25 miles per hour at times across parts of Nevada, the Sierra into Utah, and across central Idaho. Looking at the overall forecast amount of precipitation as we move through the next 3 days, and again generally dry conditions continue with the exception of the central Idaho mountains and parts of northwest Wyoming that may see some light amounts of precipitation. However, the main focus with that ridge in place across the Great Basin will push more significant moisture to the north. As we move into this weekend, the ridge of high pressure moves well to the east with the developing area of low pressure off the west coast. Therefore, winds will be increasing a little bit more as we move into Saturday over western and northern areas, along with continued dry weather. Still, ERCs and fire potential will remain low, generally with the recent moisture and cooler temperatures we have seen. But we will be watching these winds, especially into southern areas as they pick up later in the weekend in areas that have been very dry. By Sunday, that trough moves in, and we also see some moisture moving up from the south, which will likely bring showers and thunderstorms to parts of southern Nevada, the Arizona Strip into Utah on Sunday, and also moisture will be moving in out ahead of the main trough in the west, bringing some showers to northwest Nevada and Idaho. Again, generally low fire potential, and we will see fire potential start to decrease over southern areas as that moisture moves in by early next week. On Monday, moisture starts to overspread the eastern areas of the Great Basin, and also some moisture will be lingering over parts of Idaho into northwest Nevada out ahead of the trough. And again, we can see the image on the right showing fire potential generally decreasing as that moisture moves up. By Tuesday, we have general trophy conditions across the Great Basin. Some drying might start moving in over far western areas, but we'll still see some moisture lingering across Idaho into Utah and Wyoming with generally low fire potential. The overall forecast amount of precipitation for days 4 and 5, which only takes us from early Saturday morning through early Monday, shows generally dry conditions with just a few showers in the higher elevations of Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho. However, again, as we move into early next week, we will see more appreciable rainfall amounts in parts of southern and eastern areas, and also the north and the west. Looking a little bit further ahead into the last week of October, we'll likely see a return of moisture, as you can see from the image on the right, with above normal precipitation really expected across most of the geographic area late this month into early November. Also, as the troughs move in, we'll see better chances of below normal temperatures in the west and near or above normal temperatures further east. That concludes our briefing for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening.